This morning, will Australian troops be sent to the front line in the Middle East as tensions reach boiling point in the region? Calls for an inquest into the death of Canadian backpacker Piper James on Gari. Concerns for the would-be developer of Queensland's Trump Tower. And it's full speed ahead for the Grand Prix this week in Melbourne. That's all coming up on Sunrise.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
Good morning. Let's go straight to our top story today. The world is watching as tensions reach boiling point in the Middle East. The supreme leader of Iran is dead after US and Israeli airstrikes targeted the long-time leader and his inner circle and family. The death toll is rising, with Iran now retaliating, firing missiles across the Gulf. Straight to our chief reporter, Chris Reason, who's live in Tel Aviv in Israel. Chris, those strikes have killed several people there.
The death toll there keeps rising, unfortunately, Eddie. Yeah, this happened around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Right now, the authorities telling us that 9 people were killed, up to 60 were injured when one of the Iranian ballistic missiles came down on the building they were in. The tragic twist on this is that all of those people, most of those people, were inside a safety bunker at the time, thinking that they were going to be okay. The missile, sadly, went straight into this building. Two buildings toppled on top of each other. The floors pancaked. Investigation underway as to how this was allowed to happen, why the Israeli Iron Dome system didn't take those missiles out of the sky. It won't slow Israel down. They've been launching record numbers of aerial sorties across Tehran, the capital city of Iran, today. Interestingly, Iran has been firing back hard, not just with missiles, but also with drones in Dubai, a favourite travel destination for so many Australians and transit point. 3 more people killed there with a drone attack. And this is fascinating, Eddie. The British newspaper, The Times of London, is now reporting that English government is now looking at what could be the biggest transport of citizens to get their own people out of Dubai. 76,000 people, they say, travellers, potentially caught up right now if the airspace doesn't get reopened again in coming days. They're looking at driving them out to Saudi and then flying them out from there. One quick other point, the Maersk container ships. The first container ship has now been hit in the Straits of Hormuz. That's that vital little narrow shipping laneway that takes some 1/5 of the world's petroleum supplies. They've decided not going to let any more ships travel through that region. Stand by for export prices and potentially oil prices to start spiralling upwards.
And Reza, what's the feeling there? Because obviously the people of Israel are used to these kinds of attacks coming in from Gaza. Does it feel different this time?
Very much so, Eddie. I mean, the Gaza rockets, they're crude, they're handmade, they fly very quickly and they hit within seconds. These ones, though, the Iranian missiles, the ballistic missiles, they are hypersonic. They move at 5 times the speed of sound, some of them. Even though Iran is some 1,500 kilometres from where I'm standing right now, when their missiles come across from there, they take about 12 minutes to reach here. They are so much more devastating, as we saw with that tragic story in Beach Shemesh today.
All right, thank you, Chris Reason. We'll come back to you live during Sunrise, of course, as well as live coverage in the US, and also answering that question if Australian troops will join the conflict. We'll go live to Canberra as well. That's all coming up during Sunrise. Melbourne's Formula One bosses are keeping a close eye on the Middle East conflict, but insist it's full speed ahead for the Grand Prix this week. The F1 season launch is part of a blockbuster mad march of events as Melbourne roars to life.
With just 5 days to go, F1 bosses insist the Grand Prix season opener is on track. Despite the Middle East conflict threatening to put the brakes on travel plans, team and staff arrangements are being worked through and there are no expected impacts. It's been a delicate operation transporting precious cargo from a pre-season in Bahrain to Albert Park. But for the sport's big stars, it's business as usual.
When we look at the Grand Prix specifically, 40% of that market comes from interstate and probably about 7% comes from an international base in the UK, the US and broader Europe.
The Grand Prix is part of Mad March, Melbourne's most action-packed month of the year.
Event City, tennis, Grand Prix, racing, got all the things going on.
Collingwood will host St Kilda at the G on Sunday, the only Melbourne match in the opening round. There's also the Food and Wine Festival, plus the Comedy Festival and the Flower and Garden Show. It's the first time Melbourne will host the triple threat of Moomba, the Grand Prix and the AFL, all on the Labor Day long weekend. And it's set to pay off, attracting a record-breaking 1.5 million people to the city.
Comparing last year to this year, it's up 14% for Saturday and up 30% on Sunday.
Phoebe Worthley, 7 News.
The proposed Trump Tower in Surfers Paradise may have already run into trouble before the shovel even hits the dirt, with new concerns over would-be developer David Young. The Altus Property Group director has been criticised for his lack of experience in developing high-rises, going bankrupt twice and overseeing projects that left multi-million-dollar debt holes. Despite these concerns, Mr Young says he's up for the challenge. The tower would be Australia's tallest building at 335 metres with 91 stories. The family of Canadian backpacker Piper James, who died on Queensland's Gari Island, have called on the coroner to launch an inquest into her death. The 19-year-old's body was found on January 19, with reports determining she'd been bitten by dingoes while alive, but most likely drowned. Piper's parents say a full review into the policies governing the sharing of information by rangers about the risk of dingo attacks is needed. It comes after the teen was farewelled during an emotional funeral in British Columbia. We'll check in today's weather now. Partly cloudy with a medium chance of showers in Brisbane, 29. Partly cloudy, high chance of showers for Sydney, 27. Cloudy, rain for Canberra, 21. Also cloudy with heavy chance of rain in Melbourne, 23. Rain and cloudy in Hobart, 25. Cloudy with a chance of showers for Adelaide, 25. Bright and sunny in Perth. And cloudy showers in Darwin and 30. Well, still to come on the Sunrise Early News, Pope Leo calls for calm as tensions in the Middle East reach boiling point. And a special St David's Day message from the royal couple delights Wales. That's all next on Sunrise. Returning now to our top story, as tensions in the Middle East unfold, there are mounting questions as to whether or not Australian forces will be joined into the conflict zone. Let's go live now to Isabel Mullen in Canberra. Izzy, morning to you. The PM has warned against Australian involvement.
Yeah, he has, Eddie. Good morning. The federal government has said Australian troops will not be sent to Iran, and that comes as Anthony Albanese broadly supports these bombings, the strikes from the United States and Israel that led to the death of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Now, Australians in the region are urged to leave immediately and seek consular assistance. The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade setting up a portal online where you can register your interest if you are trying to get out. Here's Penny Wong.
We stand with the people of Iran in fighting against an oppressive regime. In relation to Australian involvement, obviously we did not participate.
The Prime Minister has warned that Australia has a limited capacity to evacuate people who are in Tehran following the expulsion of Iran's ambassador to Australia last year. That came after the spate of anti-Semitic attacks in both Sydney and in Melbourne. There will be constant updates provided via the Smart Traveller website. Eddie.
Thank you, Izzy. And Foreign Minister Penny Wong will join us live on Sunrise after 7 o'clock this morning. The Pope has called for an end to the spiral of violence as tensions in the Middle East reach boiling point. In his weekly address to pilgrims in St Peter's Square after Sunday prayer, Pope Leo warned of enduring violence becoming an irreparable chasm, instead calling for reasonable, genuine and responsible dialogue. The first US-born pontiff also called for an urgent intervention between Afghanistan and Pakistan with recent ongoing clashes. The Princess of Wales has joined her husband for the first time in delivering a special St David's Day message in Welsh. The pair are understood to have been practising the language.
Mae Cymru yn agos iawn at ein colonnau, ac rydyn yn edrych ymlaen at bob ymweliad.
Sounded good to us. They've been practising actually on Duolingo. William and Kate also wore daffodils in honour of the National Day of Wales, marking the death of its patron saint in 589 AD. Well, the bright lights of Las Vegas promised a fairy tale start to the 2026 NRL season, but for the Cowboys, the American dream has come undone, going down to the Knights. The big winners were the fans.
In Vegas, it's showtime.
The 2026 NRL Premiership begins.
First try to Fletcher Sharp.
Sharp scores!
First win to Newcastle.
That's a hard-earned victory.
As the NRL's Sin City gamble paid dividends again. A record 40,000 fans for a thumping season opener.
Oh, it's definitely bigger. It honestly feels like a grand final.
Go Dragons! The Cogra clan swarmed on a Vegas saloon.
Oh, mate, this is mad.
It's amazing. It's been so much fun.
While at the Blues Bar, the Canterbury crew was on song 2. Later drowned out by a balmy army of Super League supporters. For NRL and Super League fans, it's just as much about the camaraderie between each other than it is about the games themselves. Thousands walking together towards the stadium. There were Knights and Cowboys among the crowd, and a few who'd lost their way.
Go Para!
And while they cheered from here, many more cheered from home. But for those who'd paid $8,000 each,
pretty tough plane ride with the little one, but hopefully it's all worth it.
It was the Dragons going down to the Dogs.
And Stephen Cronin!
In Las Vegas, Jaleesa Raps, 7 News.
Also to come on the Sunrise Early News, the farewell for beloved and innocent grandfather Chris Bagzarian to be held this week, and pain at the Bowser as the Middle East conflict drives up petrol prices. That's all coming up on Sunrise. A memorial service will be held this week to farewell grandfather Chris Bagzarian, the man allegedly kidnapped and killed in a tragic case of mistaken identity. A small service for the 85-year-old will be held on Thursday evening at the Armenian Church of Holy Resurrection in Chatswood. Police are continuing to hunt the outstanding offenders involved in the crime. The Queensland Government is adding more charges to the list of offences under adult crime, adult time. In all, a dozen new charges have been added, but some inclusions have experts scratching their heads.
Hot on their heels, scrambling through scrub, police in the far north find suspected young thieves hiding in tall grass near Atherton.
Hey, fella, come here, you're under arrest. Both of you are under arrest.
2 boys aged just 11 and 13 charged as the government announced a third tranche of adult time, adult crime offences.
Every change we make will be about strengthening the laws.
An additional 12 crimes, including assaults occasioning bodily harm, now up to 10 years jail, dangerous driving, a maximum life sentence, and indecent treatment of a child, potentially 20 years.
The metric is, do these offenders cause serious harm?
But the inclusion of seldom seen crimes, including conspiring to murder, aiding suicide, and administering poison, have raised some eyebrows.
It's incredibly unlikely that we have that many young people administering poison. I don't think they're going to have any impact in curbing youth crime.
The government says the changes were recommended by an expert legal panel which, after a year, has now finished its work.
That expert legal panel advice will be released as part of the committee process.
Labor hasn't seen the detail of the expanded adult time, adult crime legislation, so isn't saying at this stage whether it will support them. Regardless, the bill is due to be tabled in Parliament this week. Garth Burley, 7 News.
In breaking news, a car has been decimated by a fire in Sydney's inner west overnight. The SUV outside was engulfed in flames in the rear car park of a unit block on Claremont Street in Campsie around 12:15 this morning. Firefighters extinguished the blaze, however the car was destroyed. No injuries have been reported, but the fire is being treated as suspicious. Aussies are set for more pain at the Bowser as the conflict in the Middle East is set to drive prices up. Prices are expected to spike by up to 50%, with the fate of an important sea passage, the Strait of Hormuz, yet to be determined. Motorists are being urged not to panic, with the effects unlikely to be felt for between 7 and 10 days. A team of scientists is preparing an Australian-first research project in the fight against motor neuron disease. They're setting out to reproduce human spinal cords to find new targeted drugs and therapies.
Once a surfer, when Michael O'Hare felt twitching in his arm and weakness at the gym, he and his doctor assumed it could have been a lingering injury from a wipeout years earlier.
He said, look, if it gets any worse, come back. Well, it did, pretty quickly.
Ultimately diagnosed with motor neuron disease and told he only had a few years.
Within 3 months, I was put on a new drug trial. I've been on that drug trial ever since, for 6 years. And my progression has slowed significantly.
A new study led by the University of Wollongong is hoping to have similar success. It's an Australian first, using donated stem cells to grow mini spinal cords in the lab.
The thing with MND is that the disease progresses or starts in different places with different people.
For the first time, reproducing the human neck, the mid and lower back to help researchers understand how the disease spreads and find treatments to stop it in its tracks.
Current models don't give us that tool, and we will hopefully be able to look at the impact of drugs on that.
Research made possible by MND Australia. Mike hopes it will help others follow in his footsteps and enjoy life years after diagnosis.
They call me their poster boy. Just told them I'd rather be the poster boy on the fireman's calendar, but that's not going to happen.
Amber Laidler, 7 News.
Also to come on the Sunrise Early News, the Matildas get their Asian Cup campaign off to the perfect start in Perth. Premiership-winning Demons star calls time in his AFL career, and a closer look at how the weather's shaping up in your part of the country. We're checking sport now. It wasn't pretty, but the Matildas ensured they opened their home Asian Cup campaign with a 1-0 win over the Philippines in Perth. Superstar captain Sam Kerr scoring her first goal for Australia in over 2 years. Let's relive it.
To the back post, where Caitlin...
I think I'm just finding my confidence again. I think that's probably where I'm strongest. I don't know. I guess that's for other people to judge, but I feel like I am still my normal self.
Don't question it, just go with it. Returning from a knee reconstruction, Mary Fowler made a short cameo off the bench as well. The Matildas' next group match is against Iran on the Gold Coast on Thursday night. In the AFL, a premiership-winning Demon has announced his retirement just days out from opening round. 34-year-old defender Stephen May confirmed the news on social media, saying the D's deserve some clean air and no distractions moving forward. May had been on personal leave since January, and in Perth, Port Adelaide ended pre-season under new coach Josh Carr with a 73-point win over West Coast. To the NRL, and after hitting the Vegas jackpot, the Bulldogs celebrated long into the night after opening their season with a golden point win over the Dragons at Allegiant Stadium. Despite a valiant performance, Dragons coach Shane Flanagan was unhappy with the officiating in the 15-14 defeat.
We didn't get the rub of the green, that's for sure. As I said, just disappointing, but it wasn't decided, in my view, the right way.
Earlier the night secured victory over the Cowboys 28-18. The great Alyssa Healy signed off from her final one-dayer for Australia with a vintage performance against India in Hobart. As her husband Mitchell Stark sat nervously in the commentary box, Healy blasted her 9th international century off 79 balls.
An icon of Australian sport scores 100.
Healy reached 158 as the Aussies posted 7 for 409. The retiring skipper even bowled 2 overs as the visitors were bowled out for 224. Australia winning by 185 runs to retain the multi-format series title. Well done. We're taking a look at the weather around the country now for a Monday. A low, trough and approaching cold front will bring storms and rain to southern Northern Territory, central and eastern South Australia, West Victoria, southwest New South Wales and northwestern Tasmania. It's a bit all over the shop, isn't it? An active monsoon across the northern tropics is also bringing scattered showers and storms. Onshore winds bring showers to the east coast, but it's clearer over Western Australia. Looking around the country now, partly cloudy with a medium chance of showers in Brisbane, 29. Partly cloudy, some showers around for Sydney, 27 degrees. Cloudy, a bit of a chance of rain too for Canberra and 21. Also cloudy, bit of rain around in Melbourne, 23. Rain and cloudy in Hobart, 25. It's going to be 25 in Adelaide as well. Same conditions, bit of rain there too. But bright and sunny in Perth, 30 degrees. And cloudy with showers in Darwin, 30 degrees. And that's Sunrise Early News. I'm Edwina Bartholomew. Now it's time for Sunrise with Nat and Shervo.
Breaking now, fire and fury. Israel hits Tehran again after killing the country's brutal dictator.
Rocket hell, Australians in the firing line of Iran as new blasts are heard in Dubai and Doha.
Fallen warriors. The US suffers its first casualties of the conflict. Will Australia put boots on the ground?
Also, travel chaos, flights suspended and airports closed. How long the disruption could last.
Plus, fill up now. Drivers warned of record petrol prices. How much more you could pay.
And joy and hope. Australian Iranians celebrate and dream of freedom of their homeland. It's Monday, the 2nd of March, 2026.
Across Australia, this is Sunrise.